Hello, Mary Baldwin College students. This is Dr. Stuart Tausman. I am here to teach you about physiological psychology this semester. This is Psychology 305LW. I believe that stands for the fact that this will be an online course and it's supposed to be a writing intensive course. It's very nice to have you in my class. Got a lot of work to do this semester. The acoustics here are going to be kind of mapped to the introduction assignment. So if you go to Blackboard and look on Module 1 Introduction Assignment, I'm going to ask you to listen to this, and I've attached the syllabus. I've got my acoustic introduction, and then I've asked you a couple questions. Do you find anything interesting here, and what is my teaching philosophy, and describe how things will work in each module. I got to tell you, I've really been looking forward to teaching this class for quite some time. Let me share a little bit of my background with you, and if you find any of this mildly amusing, that's fine. If you don't, that's also fine. I am from New Jersey, grew up in Edison, New Jersey in the 70s and 80s, went and got my psychology degree from the Ohio State University, and yes, I am a Buckeye football fan. Got my Bachelor's of Science in 1982 there, then went on to Binghamton University in upstate New York. At Binghamton, I ended up actually going into Binghamton for graduate school studying neuroscience. But I had terrible allergies and asthma to the rats, and I was terrible at working with them. So although I love the field of neuroscience, which is what this class is about in physiological psychology, I could not go into the field. Instead, my master's degree was in the field of psychoacoustics. I focused on clapping behavior, hand clapping. My dissertation was in reading research. Got my PhD in '91. My wife and I got married. She's Catholic. I'm Jewish. We moved out to Illinois, and we've been married now 21 years. Was teaching at a liberal arts college out there, Rockford College. Started doing research in the field of asthma, which I have, and I like doing research in. I'm a health psychologist. And then after 16 years there, ended up applying and getting the job at Jefferson College of Health Sciences, where I'm a full-time professor of psychology. I teach in the health psychology program, classes in things like behavior change and neuroscience as well. I've taught this class many times, but this is the first opportunity I've had to teach this class online at Mary Baldwin. I've enjoyed my experiences at Mary Baldwin. When I arrived to Roanoke in '07, our offices were in the Higher Ed Center at the ADP Center in Roanoke. I walked upstairs, met Sharon Barnes, and the rest is history. So that's kind of some stuff about my background. I've taught biological psychology all sorts of times, physiological psychology, neuroscience, whatever you want to call it, and I'm very much looking forward to working with you. So that's a little bit about my background. My teaching philosophy, constructivism. Are you guys familiar with constructivism? Constructivism is the idea that I want you to construct your own reality. My job as a professor is to find out what you know and kind of add on to your knowledge and teach you things you might not know. So constructivism, the most important thing you can do is be interactive. I am not a lecture type of person very much, although this class I will have some tidbits to share with you. Instead, the idea is you do things, you send me e-drafts, you send me emails, you post on the discussion boards, and that'll allow you to be successful in the class. How are things going to work in each module? Well, that's a very interesting question. I've been really working hard on this, actually a lot over the last couple of weeks, and I still don't have all the answers to this, but I think I can give you some thoughts on how this is going to occur. Many of you have had me for a class previously. And you know that I do things in many different ways, but for this class, here's what I'm thinking is going to occur. And this is kind of question 3 here. In this particular class, for example, in the first unit, I'm going to ask you to find a drug that you want to learn about that's being used for, like, depression. And the idea is when you find this drug, you can just pick any drug you want. You can't pick a drug another student has, but the idea is pick a drug, and you may have a friend taking one, you may yourself be taking one. The idea is to post that on the discussion board and say, I'm going to study Lexapro. And then the idea is to start doing some digging. see if you can find out some key information about electrophysiology, about neurochemistry, psychopharm, and post that information and get in discussions with other people about their products and just try to learn with everybody helping each other out. While that is going on, the other thing that you'll be getting is when you look in the modules, you'll see I will have lectures for the first module. I'm going to teach you the basics of neuroscience using the textbook and using the knowledge that I have as well, and I'm going to be using that and giving like 3 or 4 lectures on what is electrophysiology, what is neurochemistry, and what is psychopharmacology. It would be expected as you listen to these and type up summaries of these that your discussion board conversation might move to a slightly higher level as the weeks go by. I'm basically going to give 2 or 3 weeks to work on most of this, probably 3. At the end of the 3 weeks, we're going to look at your discussion boards, and hopefully you'll have something to say about your drug and maybe some other people's as well. And the individual assignments that you will do, where you'll type up your notes on what you listen to acoustically and send me drafts of that. And at the end of the 2 or 3 weeks, what I'm going to ask that you actually do is type up a final summary paper where you basically say, my drug is X, here's what I found out about it, here's what it does, here's some of the concerns I have. Because in this class you're supposed to be doing kind of writing assignments. It's a writing intensive class. There'll be no online exams, no face-to-face exams, none of that, but I'm interested in teaching and learning. So hopefully this will work out well for you. Hopefully this makes sense to you. The final thing I need to share with you is I usually just record on these acoustic files and then just download the acoustic files for you to listen to. I've been told by Mary Baldwin that they're hogging up a lot of space that they have to pay for. So they found a way for me to make these YouTube videos where I can actually put the acoustics on, but Mary Baldwin has a free account apparently with Google and YouTube, so we're going to try to put these on YouTube accounts. So hopefully all of that makes sense. You can summarize that, answer these 3 questions. I'll give you about 2 weeks to work on this part of it. You can send me a draft if you wish. If you do a great job, I'll say, that's great. I'll tell you to attach it to the posting on Assignment Manager and write something like full credit on it, and then you will be able to go from there. So the introduction assignment you kind of have now. Class notes are the technical lectures that I'll give you. The other thing that I would ask you to look at on the website is where it says discussions. I already have the first 2 discussions up. The first one is just getting to know you, and the second one is asking you to start on this conversation about depression and looking up drugs. You can even look up what some of these terms mean, and then you will listen to the acoustics and learn more from this. So this class is going to be a little different than my other distance classes, but just participate, send me emails, and I'll try to explain as much as I can to you. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.